In a lot of anime forums online, there's a lot of debate on what is considered anime or not. Does it have to be made in Japan to be considered anime? Is it about the animation style? Would American shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Teen Titans be considered anime? Some might point out that the Japanese word anime itself is just short for animation, which technically includes all animation, and that's just the way Japanese people refer to cartoons regardless of their origins. A lot of times this can devolve into heated arguments online, so let's take a closer look. I think what makes something anime can be located in the use of Japanese talents and Japanese creative ideas. Keep in mind that this is not 100% foolproof, and I'm strictly talking about the term in English language discourse among English-speaking anime fans. There's a huge idol culture in Japanese popular culture, and this extends into Japanese anime voice actors known as seiyuu. A lot of anime fans are big fans of famous seiyuu from their favorite anime shows. Therefore, the use of seiyuu as part of the Japanese talents is usually important for something to be considered anime. This doesn't mean that you cannot have English dubs, but the use of Japanese seiyuu usually precedes English dubs. However, there are examples of anime that either don't have audio dubs or don't have Japanese dubs at all, like Afro Samurai.
That a motherfucking RPG? You got a motherfucking RPG? A RPG in a motherfucking backpack?
What about the use of Japanese animators? Because the cost of producing anime is expensive, a lot of anime studios outsource their work to neighboring countries like South Korea, China, Vietnam, etc. Sometimes they either outsource the work to other studios, freelance artists, or their own foreign branch. For example, Toei Animation has a subsidiary in the Philippines. Therefore, Japanese anime studios act as a lead production while they outsource the grunt work. I would say that the existence of Japanese anime studio as a lead is necessary for a cartoon to be considered anime, even if they do minimal work. What about the use of Japanese creative ideas? This is where it gets really tricky. For original anime, the use of Japanese anime studios would make the creative ideas Japanese by default. However, most anime are adaptations from manga, light novels, visual novels, etc. If they're adapted from Japanese works by Japanese anime studio, then that would also make the creative ideas Japanese by default. In cases where it is adapted from non-Japanese works, this is where the line gets blurry. If it is sufficiently reinterpreted and infused with Japanese creativity, then it would fall under Japanese creative ideas. A good example of this is Studio Ghibli with their anime adaptations of Western novels, such as Howl's Moving Castle and When Marnie Was There. However, there are a lot of grey area cases, such as Shelter by Porter Robinson and Madian, Ruby Ice Queendom, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, Star Wars Visions, etc. For example, the Anime Site My Anime list does not have Scott Pilgrim Takes Off in its database. There are a few rare cases of Japanese talents and anime studios explicitly using American animation style ideas like Pantheon's Talking with Gardabelt. In examples like these, it would still usually be considered anime even by anime fan purists, because it is technically still using Japanese creative ideas, where it is an original work from a Japanese anime studio. What about certain elements that are present in most anime? Stevie Swan referred to this as anime-esque to describe many conventionalized elements one could expect from anime, elements that make anime recognizable. Some examples include big eyes to recognizable tropes like moe, yandere, giant mecha robots, etc. Anime-esque is recognizable and easy to copy in non-Japanese anime, hence the grey areas. Though I would say that anime-esque is not necessary for something to be considered anime. I want to be extremely clear here that I'm not making any particular judgment that a cartoon should or shouldn't be considered anime based on rigid criteria. I'm simply trying to explain why some anime fan purists might consider certain cartoons anime or not. And in my personal opinion, instead of gatekeeping and arguing about these kinds of details, it's much better to increase collaborations among Japanese and non-Japanese creative artists, so you have more different kinds of anime, which is a good thing for anime fans. To conclude, for a cartoon to be considered Japanese anime, it must have two elements: Japanese talents and Japanese creative ideas. The Japanese talents themselves must necessarily include Japanese anime studio as the main creative lead. For Japanese creative ideas, anime can adapt non-Japanese works as long as it is sufficiently reinterpreted and infused with Japanese creativity for it to be considered Japanese creative ideas.